Good morning. So I just woke up. I'm sorry if you can tell, but it'll get better over the course of the video. So today's episode starting off with a money raid. It was kind of funny because we just replaced someone who said he got burned after 2 raids. And then what do you know? We pulled a big loot. That pays for about another week of fives. Alright, so next up I have a compilation so you guys understand what we have to go through during a bad RNG session. Keep in mind that our maiden threshold is 116. This compilation is footage from mostly a singular day. So yeah, it's not every day that you get wreck. This was pretty bad though, but yeah, it's just a part of speedrunning. You might wonder why we're even doing this, but we're just hanging out in Discord and having fun. Lots of people spend weeks or months on a good time, and wreck's even worse. I only showed you the fails of the session so far, but between all those maidens, we did have a couple good runs. There is one in particular that I would like to show. This one starts out with a pretty average. Well, after that compilation just now, I don't really think I can say that anymore, but it's a decent maiden. We insta-zero her, and it's actually pretty deep. We could have procced a 16-second 70s here, but we didn't bow too big, so it was just an 18. An 18 is just as good though. Often when it's a 16, it's like a shallow 69.9% proc, and the push for the stack gets really iffy. In this case, it was an 18, which pushed her deep into the 66% range. We get a clean stack and it's deep again, 44%. We don't leak too much, but for some reason aren't doing a lot of damage. This is unfortunate because we're already trying to push for the 30s so we can stack them on the old 50s that are still in the stack. If the 30s is quick enough, we can actually use the freezes for the skip to clean up the remainder of the pile. It's still looking decent, and we also have those claws because we insta-zeroed her at the beginning. Overall, it worked out and we got a runnable maiden. Next up is Bloat. Bloat is mostly about getting the 1 down. Our maiden thresholds are so low that almost any 1 down is runnable. If he's down to about 80% when he stops, it's usually pretty free. And it was. This was a pretty nice Bloat, and we got the sub 2 pace into Nilo. Next up is the bug room, and we had some nice barrages at the end of the cleanup. The stats plugin was actually broken this day, so I can't tell you the wave time, but it felt good and it was at least a 252. The boss on this one was pretty bad. We had 2 mage phases, and that's usually already doomed. But I think the entry and the waves really saved our asses here. Once again, the entry into Sode wasn't ideal, but you know, with how the day was going, we weren't gonna resign this. The Sode was really good. We hit both hammers on P1 and just started doing our thing. I actually got really lucky on this one because I got chanced right away. I took 2 venges at the start and couldn't get my prey back up for the 3rd and 4th orb. The 3rd orb hit me at 24 on 41 HP and definitely chanced me. I take out the 4th and lost a hit, but I would have died if I didn't. Since we hadn't got the Sode yet, I forgot to set up my screen markers for Humidify and Spellbook Swap. It's always kinda scary doing it blind, but we've been doing it long enough that I can trust my muscle memory. We instantly get 3 hammers, which is kind of a waste, but we have to Ranger insta-spec when both of our meleeers hit on P1, because they only have 1 spec and cannot back themselves up during P2 without losing ticks. We can then spec transfer them from the mages to the meleeers, and they can back themselves up on the last phase again. We get another good maze, and so far the phases have actually been quite fast, and we get 2 hammers on P3 again. This means both meleeers have a claw spec, and this is looking great. All we need to do now is not die and try and take as many venges as we can. The pressure is pretty much over at this point because at P3 we've already made it past all the hard parts. Now it's just a matter of hitting big and finishing off the kill. We're all pretty low and Tuki goes down with the ship, trying to get his last venge off. Good work, dude. Worthwhile sacrifice. Holy, are you seeing the chat box right now? That's almost Rex Sode. And that's a pretty damn good entry. Alright, let's see what Zarpus has to say about this pace. You know how it is, Zarpus is all about the specs, and we get 3 hammers and 71 BGS. That means 1 more BGS is probably enough. And it is! I won't bore you with the whole Zarpus, so it's a 207, and it's not the best. As you can see on the chart, we're kind of looking for a sub 905 into Verzik, but it's still wreckable, we just need really good RNG now. Even though I don't sound very hyped right now, this is some pretty rare pace, and we could definitely wreck from this, so keep your eyes open. The P1 goes well this time, and I'll take you straight into P2. I've got pretty comfortable with depth charging since the last raid you saw me do it, and so the crabs go very smoothly this time. They're just always so scary in 5s because they do so much damage if you mess up, and messing up on pace is a big no-no. Usually what you're hoping for is a humble 1 crab spawn, but sometimes it feels like Verzik knows that you're on pace. I really like this clip for how well everything worked out though. Next, I'ma skip ahead to the first red phase, when we get pretty close to a 1 down reds. A 1 down reds is pretty legendary under speedrunners and often leads to great Verzik times, and we could really use a great Verzik time right now. Unfortunately we didn't get it, but it was close. After her shield disappears, we noodle hard, and while we could have killed her on our first swing, we killed her on our third. Going into P3, Rek and second place are already off the table, but we could still get third place, which is pretty cool. At the start of P3, everybody venges twice, and everybody but the tank moves north to get ready for the crabs. I don't think we knew at the time that we were basically playing for third place at this point, so it was still tense, and just like during P2, P3 crabs are pretty scary as well. When the crab spawns, she's already at 60%, so this damage is looking great. The crabs go relatively well, and everybody's still alive. Now all we gotta do is swing the shit out of her during webs. We move south, and it's looking like we're gonna proc tornadoes before webs. Proccing tornadoes this early would actually be kinda bad, cause we'd probably heal. However, we don't even proc it on the first south web swing. Kind of unlucky, cause our damage during webs could have been way better, and we might have had an east kill. We could have actually had a south kill, but I forgot I had claws and spec'd a hit late. I absolutely threw a whole 5-tick cycle there, and we would have tied third place. You know what I always say though, right? Unlucky, go next. Well, that's pretty much it for today's video. I'll end on some funny screenshots of our Discord conversations and put their socials in the description. I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, thanks for watching.